Obviously, by now you guys have seen the tweets that are circulating around. They unfortunately are not fake. Those are real tweets, like real things that I said. First of all, I want to acknowledge that I feel the same way about them that you do. I think they're so disturbing, they're wrong, they're horrible, and they're disgusting.
Oh God, all this laughing. My lipstick is about to go everywhere. I'm about to look like Miranda Sings. Why are you so surprised when white creators get called out for racist posts and disturbing resurfaced Twitter posts? Like, why? Why does everyone get so angry? I'm numb to it. Do you know how sad that is? I'm so numb to it. I think the next creator is about to get exposed for the very same thing, whether it be for making distasteful comments about Black people or, you know, groups of minority typically. And my thing that annoys me so much is when people who are not even Black step in and say, oh my God, but it was 10 years ago. Bitch, 10 years ago, I knew better, so I did better. I would only like to assume you knew better, so you did better too. Or you're defending her because, you know, you have a past too, in which you feel like you very much changed from that. Can people change? Absolutely. I think the thing with Brooke Schofield, who we're going to be talking about today.
Okay, so for those who don't know much about Brooke Schofield, she is a 27-year-old creator, and I would say that she's famously known for being on the Cancel podcast, which is a super duper successful podcast in the States, and she is a co-host alongside her best friend Tana Mojo. They sit down on the couch weekly, they gist about their week, they talk about, you know, their upbringing, they get quote-unquote vulnerable, and they talk about LA parties, kind of exposing influencers, exposing celebrities too. So obviously, because there's a market for that, they've done very well in that end of exposing, and people really tune in weekly to know, okay, what's the tea? What are they going to gist about today? Now, some of you guys might also recognize Brooke Schofield because she actually had like a 30-part series on TikTok, at least it felt like it was 30, where she was talking about her ex, Clinton Kane, exposing what it truly was like to be in a relationship with him, and the whole world seemed to eat that up and praised her for it.
It felt very much like a story time. Apology felt like more of a story time as opposed to like, hey, I did this, bam, 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 bam. I'm not necessarily surprised when white creators have had a racist past. I think it kind of is the starter pack now for being a content creator, whether it's the days of me reporting on it about other creators or me not having a social media presence at the time. I was always kind of disgusted when I hear these things, but also not surprised. Now, a sad part of me, which I know just isn't the case, but because it feels like it's happening so quickly with a lot of people, I don't know, sometimes our minds go into, God damn it, it's like, is every white person racist? You know, when that just isn't the case, because people knew better and people were raised in households where they were educated, you know? I don't believe everybody is uneducated, but it feels like the vast majority seem to be that way. Do I think people can change? Yes. I think actions speak louder than words. People that piss me off the most, yes, it's Brooke's comments and stuff like that, but it's the people who are defending her, where it's like, she was grown at the time. If I'm not mistaken, she was like 17 years old. Like, at 17, I wasn't running my Twitter fingers saying absolutely incriminating, disgusting things about groups of people. And even if somebody did do me dirty, I'm not going to think that that's the whole race or that's a whole group of people.
I do appreciate the people who are coming to bat for me and like saying like, you know, it was so long ago and like she's grown and stuff.
You might appreciate them, but I certainly don't appreciate people like that who have no common sense, knowledge, who just ride with people despite their wrongs and rights. Like, at the end of the day, you need to also understand that people need to take accountability. You defending them is saying, oh my God, but it was just 10 years ago, it's 10 years ago. Okay, so if someone hurt you 10 years ago and you're still butthurt about it, or you see something that makes you think of them and I say to you, oh, but it was 10 years ago, how would you feel? You wouldn't feel good about it whatsoever. So stop being under these grown people's comment sections and defending them. And the thing is, you would assume, oh, it was just kids doing this. No, because even on this TikTok, which has gone pretty viral, and there's thousands and thousands of comments, when you click on certain people's names and you see their profiles, it's giving very much working adult. As in, you're no longer in school, you're not a baby anymore, you're an adult. It's very obvious. Some of you guys are pushing 28, 29, 25. Some of you bitches are even pushing 50, and you're defending Brooke Schofield. She doesn't need you for this one. Sit this one out and shush.
But like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, it literally does not matter. They are horrible. I want to talk about particularly the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman situation.
Fine, I'll give you guys a quick history lesson too. So let's go ahead and talk about the story of Trayvon Martin. So on the evening of February 26, 2012, in Sanford, Florida, United States, George Zimmerman fatally shot Trayvon Martin, a 17-year-old African-American who was visiting his father. Now, in this apology video of Brooke Schofield, I'm going to put apology in quote unquote, she does mention that, it was 10 years ago, so she would have been roughly around 16, 17, right? Okay, but then I can go ahead and say Trayvon Martin was 17 when he was visiting his father and was fatally shot to death. So if we're going to use numbers here, I'm going to use numbers too. Call me petty, call me what you want, but the way people are defending this woman, like you guys know her, like you guys kiki, and you know her character in and out, is actual strange behavior. And this is what the internet does best. They defend people and go hard for people they have never met. Are you dumb or stupid? Choose your fighter. But let's continue. Zimmerman, a 28-year-old multiracial man who identifies as Hispanic, was a neighborhood watch coordinator for the gated community where Martin was visiting relatives at the time of the shooting. Zimmerman became suspicious of Martin and called police. Zimmerman attacked Martin and then shot him with a pistol he was licensed to carry. In a widely reported trial, Zimmerman was charged with second-degree murder for Martin's death, but acquitted by the jury after claiming self-defense. Although Martin had no weapon, the incident was reviewed by the Department of Justice for potential civil rights violations, but no additional charges were filed.
Try not to be so emotional because I don't want it to seem like it's like a sympathy thing at all. I also don't want to blame anybody else at all, and so I'm trying to be really careful about that. I just want to explain and give some context into my mindset at the time.
Now, she does something very interesting here because she says that she's not going to put the blame on anyone else, but then we'll proceed to talk about her upbringing, and then we'll go on to talk about her grandparents, parents, and all of that. So she does actually put the blame and shift onto somebody else as to why that she is where that she is. Now, there are a lot of people who are the way that they are because it's an environmental thing, but then you can grow out of that by hanging out with other people who do not think small-minded like that. But it seems as though, again, her being besties with Tana Mojo, which we're going to go ahead and touch more upon anyways, and her constantly, in my opinion, defending Tana Mojo's actions when it's like, no, let the girl hold herself accountable. Because sometimes Brooke will stop Tana mid-sentence and say, no, but it was 10, you've learned, you've grown. Girl, let her finish.
Because I have seen some comments today that are well, no shit, she's racist, white nepo baby, a little spoiled brat, and that was not my situation. And my parents were addicts, so I was adopted by my grandparents when I was 10, and I grew up with them from that point on. And as is true for a lot of grandparents, they're a little bit less progressive than a lot of us are now. And my grandma has dementia, so it was really just me and my grandpa, and he is a very, very right-wing conservative man, okay? It was my household was literally just Fox News all the time, Rush Limbaugh, if you guys know who that is, playing literally all day long through the house, and that was just the only thing ever that I had been exposed to. A lot of you guys have also seen my mom's Twitter because she was responding back and forth about the Trayvon Martin situation, and I just should have known better. I know her, and I should have known that she is not somebody that I take any sort of political insight from at all.
Someone commented, I know so many white people with parents that have Republican conservative beliefs and they were not tweeting/saying racist stuff publicly. That's the thing also, let's just be real. Can we be real? Is it a safe place here? It's one thing to be racist, right? And to say racial jokes and comments. And I say jokes in quotation marks, by the way, because that's always the defensive response, okay? But to publicly put something out there, whether in 10 years you're going to be a influencer, celebrity, someone with some sort of following or not, that is big and bold. That is someone who's loud and proud and really stands strong in their beliefs and their opinions.
Again, sometimes you have these people that you put on a pedestal and you think everybody older than you is smarter than you and knows everything, and they do not. Truthfully, it took me a really long time. I know some of the tweets I was 18 and people are yeah, she was old enough to know better.
18 is university level here in London, in the UK. I can only speak on what it is that I know. That would technically be what, college for America, university in the UK. You should be a lot smarter than that, Brooke. Now, to publicly say this and confirm that as well, listen, it's one thing for people to know this, but for you to outwardly say, yes, I was 18, I was 18, that is a grown age. No ifs, buts, that is a grown age. Okay? You're responsible now when you go to these college dorms. You're in a more responsible position than you were in your early teens, but now you're approaching your late teens. You're a young adult. That's what you would be considered to. That's how you would be considered to the world.
Honest to God, you guys, it wasn't until like even after college that I really started to like shift my way of thinking.
Randomly stumbled across this Reddit forum that says, I'm sorry, but younger Brooke looks like the exact type of person who would post these problematic tweets. And this was from 6 months ago. Now, what they're alluding to, I don't exactly know because I can't see it on the Reddit forum, but they weren't necessarily wrong, okay? She does have problematic tweets. Now, from my knowledge anyways, didn't Brooke Schofield mention that she used to be like in a sorority in college? So I wonder what that looked like. I wonder the types of conversations they were having. I'm a nosy ass bitch suddenly. It seems as though for some time now, people have wanted Brooke to take accountability and to address a lot of her problematic tweets, in which she would then go ahead and allegedly block POC fans. And I think she's aware that a lot of her fans are probably like in the Western world, white girls, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that she's very much aware of her demographic, and she sees this when she is on tour, because if you guys didn't know, they constantly go on tours, the council podcast, they travel all around the country, and, you know, they're seeing their fans in person. Now, when it comes to a lot of Brooke's fans, not all, but if the shoe fits, bitch, let me know what size you wear. It's quite annoying because I did post somewhere that I'm going to be making a video about this whole Brooke Schofield situation, and there were like maybe 3 or 4 comments, and of course, they looked the way they looked, you know, not surprised. And they were saying to me, Keisha, just drop it. Like, she was 17 at the time. She was 17. You need to let go, let her breathe. You guys need to stop. How about you actually shift the finger back to the person who created this in the beginning, which is your so-called fave, Brooke Schofield? Why are you mad at people for having opinions on the disgusting tweaks? And she used the word disgusting too.
In my life, who I might have looked up to forever, who I do not agree with. And I think it's amazing now that people are like learning earlier on about politics and like forming their own opinions outside of like what their parents think or what they're hearing or whatever it is. But that just wasn't the case for me. Whatever I heard, I passed on. I'm sorry, very, very sorry to anybody who is hurt by the tweets, because obviously they are very hurtful. Like, a lot of it is just like what, like, why would I even say that?
Brooke Schofield liking a MAGA post a day after her apology for racist tweets. Just insane. I'm not going to finish that last part because those words didn't come out my mouth personally. So Brooke Schofield got caught liking a MAGA photo on Instagram. You must laugh. Apparently Tana Mojo liked it too. Of course, everyone's going to have their personal opinions and beliefs and their own political parties and whatever, but people found this very odd considering that, you know, Trump has said some really racist things. This wasn't the right time for Brooke Schofield to at least publicly be standing in solidarity.
I apologize for not having said something sooner. I just felt like I was getting these messages from people who like were hurt by them, and I felt like by bringing more attention to it, I was just going to be hurting more people, and that was not the right mindset. I should have said something sooner. I love you all so much, and obviously I know that there are some people who are just like not going to care for me anymore, and like I understand that. I need you to know that like is not how I think, that is not what I believe, and I am 27 years old now. I've had so much time to like learn and grow and like formulate my own opinions, and they are nothing like they were when I was 17, 18 years old.
I don't know what's going to happen with Brooke. I don't know whether people are going to cancel her, no pun intended, because she has a podcast called Cancelled. But I guess that was even strategic in a sense, because when you type up Tana Mojo cancelled or Brooke Schofield cancelled, I guess the first thing that will come up is their podcast episodes, even when people are trying to look for the shady stuff, you know? So I guess that was smart on their end, sorry. But Brooke Schofield and Tana are very much aware of their audience. They have been going on tour for quite a while now, and I'm sure that at their shows there are groups of different people going there, right? I'm sure will look like them, let's be clear. So that's probably why they felt that they didn't want to like talk about things a lot early. So with Brooke saying that she want to like bring it up, it's like, how would you even go about doing that anyways? I can't imagine what that looks like. Most people do not take accountability, but also I just can't imagine her like sitting in front of the camera and be like, hey guys, so these tweets came out about me, or like I can't imagine her sitting down in front of the camera before these tweets were even exposed. So I'm not necessarily buying that part. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who have said the N-word, who have said some hateful, crazy things about groups of people, and you know, all of that, and they're still fine. They still live in a lot of our playlists, and that's not me trying to defend Brooke. I'm just keeping it real, because like I mentioned, if we're gonna have an honest ass conversation, I gotta be honest. Like, there are some people, problematic faves, whatever you want to call them, where they still live on my playlist. You know, people still go to their concerts, people still watch their movies, people are still intrigued by their content. So I don't know whether things are really going to change for Brooke Schofield in the way that you think, but I think people are going to want to take a step back. There are a lot of people who don't really know who Brooke Schofield is, compared to the likes of somebody like Justin Bieber, who has had a problematic past. Some people can either forgive, some people can move on from it, but also some people are just like, yeah, no, this is too much, and this is several comments that this person has made. This is somebody who doesn't have a kind soul, at least not at that time anyway.
So being best friends with Tana Mojo and also defending the behaviour, because the thing is, and the same thing happens with Trisha Paytas as well, like Trisha Paytas has a nasty past, a nasty problematic past. I don't care how people try to bop it, flip it, twerk it. Now, are these people entertaining? Can they be problematic faves? Absolutely. But they have very creepy, weird pasts. They do. They say things and do things in which I was never doing, therefore I could not condone this behaviour. Neither should it be normalised. The internet has normalised people having a dark, twisted past. No, we don't all have skeletons in our closets like that. Don't tell me you're sorry, cause you're not. Hey, when baby then I know you're only sorry you got caught. I love people with common sense. I love people who are able to be like, you know what? Love the bitch, but this is rude. This is weird behavior. And you can't go forgiving somebody when it's not your apology to forgive. That's what annoys me the most about this. It's like, for instance, if somebody had made a homophobic comment towards the LGBTQ+IA community, girl, that's what I can't be like, oh my God, I forgive this person. They didn't aim at me. Do you know what I'm trying to say? This isn't really necessarily surprising if she is besties with Tana Mojo. Because again, I feel like, and here's why. I feel like sometimes on the podcast, and maybe Tana Mojo has changed for the better, and maybe she is not going to use the N-word anymore, and is not going to be a problematic being. I'm sure people can change. And I feel like, what's life if you don't allow people to grow and change from a situation, right? If you want to forgive Brooke Schofield, then you can forgive her. If you believe that she's truly spitting a bunch of BS and just trying to save face, you're also allowed to have that opinion too. Don't let the internet try and make you feel bad for feeling the way that you feel, okay? But sometimes when they're sitting down on the couch in their episodes and talking about, and Tana Mojo will be like, okay, you know, like I have a past, I've done this, I've done that. I feel like Brooke will always come to defense immediately and be like, okay, yeah, but you've changed now. Okay, but yeah, but you've changed. Like, no, sometimes just let Tana finish that sentence though, because Tana's getting onto a point, and that is valid. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And I feel like the same thing happens with Trisha Paytas. Like, you have a past. Now, can you very much change and turn over a new leaf, and you have kids now and you see the world differently than you did 10 years ago? Sure. But also in that situation too, Trisha Paytas was very much an adult when she was saying all these things, and she was talking about Trump as well, and wanted to build walls, and talking about Mexicans, and talking about black people, and just really ignorant, small-minded comments, right? Can these people change? Yes, there's no denying that. But if I still want to believe that they still have that spirit inside of them, then you can't be mad at me for that. I still believe someone like Jeffree Star has that venom inside of him. Jeffree Star is just a disgusting, disturbing human being who will never find peace, especially with that type of energy that he puts out. But hey, okay, I can't really find it, but if you guys go and look it up, I'm sure it's somewhere. Like, he literally was going at it, and even like him saying that he wants to throw battery acid on somebody, I'm sorry, but like, nah, that is too far in. That's a bully right there. Like, that's somebody who I just don't know if he's gonna change his stripes. I'm gonna keep it real with Mr. Beast. Like, all these creators, I'm not surprised by. I feel as though they know their privilege, and they know that, yeah, I can apologize for this, and like a huge chunk of people are still gonna support me anyway. So it's like, boo-hoo, you guys can cry about it. That's the vibe that I get from everyone that I've mentioned so far in today's video. Again, you can have problematic faves if you want to. I think we will very much do that.
If this is the real world, I'm not talking social media, I'm not talking having a platform or influence, then Brooke would have been fired from her job. Also, I would like to think, I mean, her tweets are absolutely crazy and vile, and I wasn't even able to include a lot of them in this video. So if you want to go and check for yourself, you can, but a lot of them were just absolutely insane and all around uncalled for. It's up for each individual to make up their own minds on how they feel about this woman. It's completely up to you, and however you feel is however you feel. I just feel as though nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to change for her. People want her to put her money where her mouth is and donate to organizations and, you know, good causes and charities. I don't know if I see that happening, or even if she does do it, it probably would feel quite performative, and that's probably what her PR and team would want her to do. But I just say that just looks quite desperate, just to be completely honest, okay? She's probably not even shaking in her boots, because Tana Mojo is problematic and is still being able to get sponsorships and get deals, and is still very popular. So I think that she's going to be just fine, and she knows it. It's quite sad to say that, though, as a Black creator, that I know, it's sad to say that these people are going to be just fine. They're not even going to have any sort of repercussions for their actions, but that's just the way that it is, unfortunately. But yeah, guys, I forgot to film an outro. I do apologize for that. But make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you made it this far into the video, and I'll catch you guys real soon for a brand new video. Bye-bye.